You know, when you hear the word wealth, what's the first thing that pops in your head? For a lot of us, it's probably, fast cars, fancy brands, a life that's very loud, very public. That's the version of wealth we see everywhere. But what if the real, lasting way to build wealth isn't about being seen at all? What if it's about building something quiet, something strong? Let's get into it.
So you've really got two ways of looking at this. On one hand, you have wealth as a big performance. It's a stage, right, with bright lights and all about showing off. But then there's this other view. Wealth as something that's built, carefully, piece by piece, often when no one is even watching. And that one little shift in perspective, it changes absolutely everything.
So that brings us to this idea of a quieter architecture. And this is about more than just money. It's a completely different way of thinking. It's about moving away from the flashy, fragile front you put up for people and instead focusing on the deep, solid strength of the structure you're building underneath.
And this is the core idea, right here. Real stability doesn't need to shout about itself. It's not about making a big announcement. It's built specifically to handle the rough stuff, to handle change, pressure, and just the wear and tear of time. It's built to last, not just to impress. Okay, so this whole architecture, it stands on 5 really important pillars. And these aren't just little tips. These are the fundamental principles that hold up a life of quiet, sustainable wealth. So let's break them down, one by one.
So pillar number 1 is a little bit counterintuitive. It's this: visibility is not strength. Think about it. The second your success goes public, you're suddenly dealing with pressure, with other people's expectations, with all kinds of distractions. Staying under the radar, well, that's a power move. It protects your focus, and your focus is everything.
And this just nails it. The real metric for wealth isn't the car, it's not the logo on your shirt, it's how much control you have over your own time, it's the security to know you're okay, it's having the freedom to make your own choices. That is the real prize.
All right, on to pillar 2. Real security comes from diversity. I mean, if your entire financial world is balanced on one single thing, one job, one client, one business, you are unbelievably vulnerable. All it takes is one little crack in that one support, and the whole structure could start to fall apart.
And this shows you exactly what I mean. See that single bar on the left? It's shaky. One bad quarter, one layoff, and you're in real trouble. But now look at the structure on the right. With multiple streams of income, you have this wide, stable base. It can take a hit, and it's going to stay standing. That's resilience.
Pillar 3 is all about spending, but maybe not how you'd expect. See, intentional spending is actually a source of power. Every single dollar you spend isn't just a transaction, it's a choice about your future. You're either using that dollar to buy yourself more freedom down the road, or you're giving that freedom away.
And right here, this is the engine room of quiet wealth. That space, that gap between what you bring in and what goes out, that's not just savings. That is your single most powerful resource. It's the fuel you use to build assets that actually work for you, instead of just buying stuff that loses value the second you own it. Okay, that leads us right into pillar 4. Systems will outperform personal effort every single time. And why is that? Well, it's simple. Your time and your energy, they're limited. There's a cap. You can only work so hard for so long. To get real growth, you have to think bigger than just what you can do yourself.
I mean, this comparison really says it all. Over on the left, you've got the classic hamster wheel. You trade your time for money. If you stop running, guess what? The money stops too. But on the right, you've got a machine. You build it, you fine-tune it, and then it keeps working, it keeps producing value whether you show up or not. One is a job, the other is leverage.
And that brings us to our last pillar, number 5. This one's about a totally different kind of currency: trust. We live in a world that is obsessed with getting attention, likes, views, followers. But it's so easy to forget that attention is, well, it's cheap and it's temporary. Trust, though, trust is a real asset. It's something that lasts. So here's the bottom line. The really big opportunities, the ones that actually change your trajectory, they don't usually come from being famous. They come from these quiet networks, from relationships that you build on being reliable and creating real value for each other. It's about the depth of your connections, not the width of your audience.
Okay, so we've gone through the 5 big ideas, the 5 pillars. But theory is one thing, right? How do you actually start building this stuff for yourself? Let's get really practical here and look at how you can apply these principles, like today.
All right, here are your first 5 steps. Number 1, live below your visible means. This isn't about being cheap, it's about being strategic, about creating that all-important gap we talked about. Number 2, Start building multiple income streams, even small ones. This is your shock absorber. 3. Automate everything. Your savings, your investing. Put it on autopilot so you don't even have to think about it. 4. Get in the habit of prioritizing assets that grow over things that just impress people. And finally, number 5, always be thinking like an engineer. Ask yourself, how can I build a system to do this for me?
And look, when you start putting all these pieces together, you're not just building wealth. You're not just stacking up money. You are building the foundation for something so much more important than that. You're building true freedom.
So what's the big mindset shift here? It's really this: understanding that real financial power is built in the quiet, not performed on a stage. It's knowing that your stability actually goes up as your dependency on any one thing goes down. It's accepting that the discipline you have today is literally buying you flexibility and options for tomorrow. And maybe most importantly, true freedom is designing a life where you become less and less essential to keeping it all running.
So I'll leave you with this one. Simple question to think about. When you look at your finances, your career, everything you're working towards, be honest with yourself. Are you building a stage for everybody to look at? Or are you building a fortress that's designed to last?